Hello and welcome. I'm so glad you're here today. Has your husband recently retired? Do you find yourself more anxious, stressed, perhaps becoming sick more frequently? There is a reason for that. It's called retired husband syndrome. Listen in as I share what retired husband syndrome is and how you can manage not to lose your health and your sanity. This is the Silver Divorce Podcast, broadcast from the Whitfield Media Group studios in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Please follow this show and share it with people you know who are facing divorce. We are proudly brought to you by our title sponsor, the Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, and show sponsor, Medicare Misty. Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is the area's leading provider of multi-specialty orthopedic care. Using innovative surgical techniques and technologies, our team of specialists deliver exceptional results backed by exceptional patient care. Learn more at sportmed.com. Medicare Misty is a real person who can help answer your Medicare questions. Get real help from her team at medicaremisty.com. And I'm your host, Lisa McCluskey, and now let's podcast. Retired husband syndrome is a real psychosomatic illness. We'll call it RHS. RHS refers to the physical condition where wives experience stress, anxiety, or other health problems after their husbands retire and they're home more often. This phenomenon is particularly observed in marriages with traditional gender roles, where the husband's retirement can disrupt the wife's established routines and sense of independence. It is the leading cause of divorce in Japan, and in America, with the wave of baby boomers reaching 65, it's risen here as well. Divorce among those aged 65 plus now accounts for 1 in 4 divorces today. So how does RHS manifest itself? Well, there are various physical and psychological symptoms in the wife. It is everything from headaches, sleeplessness, depression, increased feelings of stress, irritability, anxiety, and, it even leads to ulcers. Well, what causes this? In a traditional marriage, husbands spend the majority of their lives working and away from the home most of the day. They have clearly defined roles and responsibilities in the workplace, and if their job demanded long hours and travel and weekends, they're highly unlikely to have hobbies. And they may perhaps golf, but that might have been used to network with clients and fellow businessmen and not necessarily because it was something they enjoyed. The majority of their friends, those are work friends or clients. And when they retire, those friends go away. Now let's contrast that to the wife. She spent the majority of her time at home. She kept the home front functioning, took care of the kids, the bills, arranged for maintenance on the home, did the shopping and the cooking. So what happens when the husband retires? It's not uncommon for the expectations to begin to diverge after retirement. The couple is spending more time together than ever before. I know when I retired, I felt like we were joined at the hip. The marriage is actually most vulnerable for the 2 years immediately after retirement. The husband is not sure of his role in the home. And let me step back. It is most vulnerable for the 2 years immediately after retirement. My husband filed for divorce 17 months after I retired. So that is a very common window when things start to fall apart. The husband's not sure of his role in the home. He's lost his footing. He's been used to being productive his whole life. And productive is associated with the work product. But now his identity's shaken. He's not at the workplace. He doesn't have a product that he's producing. And because of the years of long hours away from home, he just wants to sit and he wants to be home. he might be spending way more time in front of the TV or on the computer, and maybe he's not even showering. Maybe he's just like, I just want to sit here. I just want to watch my TV. I just want to relax because I've spent decades being stressed out. The wife, though, on the other hand, remember, she's been at home. She just wants to be gone. She wants to travel, to enjoy what they work for, to enjoy what they save for. She has a completely different expectation. And truthfully, I can relate to that. I was a career person who was gone from the home a lot. I worked no shorter than 12-hour days. I traveled a lot. I hated flying. I was so happy when I retired and I wouldn't have to fly anywhere anymore. We ate out at least 4 times a week. And so when I retired, I just kind of wanted to be home. I wanted to focus on my home front. So I can certainly relate to how some of the husbands feel when they're finally able to retire. So he's there. He's retired. He just wants to be home. And guess what? He is suddenly in her space. She feels like he's watching every move she makes. He's underfoot. He is constantly asking where things are or where she is. What is she doing? Who is she talking to? Who is she texting with? He inserts himself in decisions she's been making their entire lives. Her independence is gone, and it is stifling. Now let's talk about the money. The couple may have saved for retirement, and they might have an investment account or a 401k, but they have a huge difference in how to spend the money. I can tell you in my case, I had done a lot of reading, and everything I read said, be very careful that first year. You shouldn't take more than $20,000 out of your savings, and you should be extra frugal. Perhaps, though, the couple never discussed or planned how they would approach retirement from a finance perspective. They spent all of their time and all of their effort to get to the goal line, but there wasn't a plan for the celebration. They look at each other and they think, now what? Or they look at each other and they think, I am losing my mind. I cannot live this way. So to be fair, this also happens when a wife has her own career and the husband retires. She has a routine. She has some independence. And now the dynamic is shifted and he's pressuring her to spend more time with him, to take time off and travel. He's home and he's changing things in the home. He's in her kitchen. He's changing the routine. The status quo is upset.
Got an injury that just can't wait? There's no need to delay your care. Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is excited to announce that our Urgent Ortho Walk-In Clinic is now available on Saturdays at the Gun Barrel Road location. Open from 8 to noon, we're here to treat sprains, strains, fractures, and more. No appointment needed. So skip the long ER wait and get specialized orthopedic care fast. Visit us this Saturday at Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics Urgent Ortho. We're the center for expert care right when you need it. Learn more at sportmed.com.
So, if your husband's about to retire, how should you approach your soon-to-be retired husband? Well, again, like most things, open communication is key. And I can tell you from a personal standpoint, I wish that I had spent more time communicating these things prior to retirement. So here's some things to think about. When you've decided at what age you will retire, start to have those conversations about what retirement will look like for both of you. Are you going to travel? How often are you going to travel? What's the travel budget every month? Are you going to predominantly travel domestically, or do you want to travel internationally? Those are two different things that require two different budgets. So have those conversations so you both understand what's on your bucket list. What is it you wish that you could do? And then this is really important. A year prior to retirement, see a financial planner who can look at all of your accounts and project out how much you can draw each month in retirement and live a comfortable life while not significantly depleting your investments. And, if you remember, I said I was trying to be extra frugal and very worried about spending too much money. Well, we went to a financial advisor and she projected out our investments and said, if you live to be 99 and you took out this much money a month, you will still have this much money when you die. And just having somebody project that using a very conservative approach to the investments, it gave a huge level of comfort and helped me to see that it's okay to spend some of the money that you've worked so hard for. So once you've done that, you've gone to a financial planner and you have a good sense of what your investments will do, how much you can withdraw each month without depleting your investments. Then develop a budget based on what you'll have coming in after retirement and what your expenses are. And I highly recommend this. I did this in advance a year before retiring. Start living on that new budget. Adjust to it. Adjust to that new income before you retire, because that takes away the sticker shock of, oh, I'm retired and now we need to live on half the income. So do it at least a year in advance and start easing your way into adjusting to what that new budget looks like. And any of the additional money that you have, you can stock it away into that vacation fund, because you've both had that conversation on how you're going to travel and where you're going to travel, and you can pad that a little bit. So let's talk about getting your husband out of the house. One of the most, aggravating things for women who've been in the home is suddenly they're underfoot and they're changing everything and constantly asking questions. And you just, to preserve your sanity, you need to get them out of the house. So think about and plan for this well before they retire. One woman I know, she befriended the wives of her husband's golf buddies, and then the ladies planned play dates for their husbands in retirement. So that's one option. Plan some volunteer activities with a cause that maybe you care about or he cares about. You can go together and develop a shared activity. Also, maybe it's pickleball. That's hugely popular. There are a lot of couples games, and it could be something that you both do together. So the most important thing, though, is be open. Discuss how you'll plan to have alone time in retirement as well. You have to talk about it. You can't just, go head first in retirement without having had that conversation about you're still going to need some independence. You're still going to need some alone time. And that goes for both of you. Also, talk about household responsibilities and how they'll be handled. If your husband, because he's been away so much, he's not been involved much in the home, talk about how you're going to share chores. Or, conversely, if your husband's been retired and he's been doing most of the chores and suddenly you retire and he thinks you're going to take over everything and he's going to sit back, that won't go over so well. So talk about how you're going to share responsibility for the chores in retirement. The most important thing is approach this phase of life with an open mind and practice forgiveness. That transition period, it can be very challenging. As I mentioned, it really is a 2-year transition period, and that's when your marriage will be the most vulnerable and you will enter some very shaky ground because things are changing. But you each sacrificed a great deal to reach this stage in life, and you want to enjoy the fruits of your labor. But sometimes you just can't make it work. If you're unable to work through the issues together, consider talking to a therapist or a relationship coach. In the end, if you simply cannot fathom living with your spouse for the rest of your life, I encourage you to approach divorce carefully with a mindset that allows for a mediated or collaborative process that helps lessen the trauma to the family. Don't blindside your spouse. even if you have to go to discernment counseling together so that somebody is helping you make that decision, try to have an open and honest conversation, arrive at your decision, and then as much as possible, try to allow for a mediated or collaborative process, because divorce is traumatic on the entire family circle, and you will be able to go forward in a much better way, I should say. You'll be able to start on a new path if you two have not have a divorce that is a knockdown, drag out. As much as possible, try to keep it collaborative and mediated if you find that divorce is the only option. So I hope this has helped you. If you're about to retire, please take these things into consideration. And it is possible to get past that two-year period and go on to enjoy those golden years. Please join me on the next episode of the Silver Divorce Podcast. I also ask you to do me a favor and please follow this show and share it with people you know who are going through divorce. I'd love to hear from you at silverdivorcepodcast@gmail.com. This podcast is brought to you by our title sponsor, the Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, and show sponsor, Medicare Misty. Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is the area's leading provider of multi-specialty orthopedic care. Using innovative surgical techniques and technologies, our team of specialists deliver exceptional results backed by exceptional patient care. Learn more at sportmed.com. Medicare Misty is a real person who can help answer your Medicare questions. Get real help from her team at medicaremisty.com. Whether you are considering divorce or maybe you're newly in the divorce process, we'll help you on your journey and tell you things your attorney might not tell you. Until next time, remember, divorce, it's just one event. It does not define who you are. I'm Lisa, and I'll see you next time.